welcome back to another video. Today, I thought I would take a break from my dissertation and talk about the other thing that is taking over my life. That is F1. Formula One. I wasn't obsessed with it this time last year, but now I'm obsessed. I never thought I would become so obsessed with a sport so quickly. And yet here we are. So I've spoken about F1 briefly on this channel before in vlogs and things, and there was a whole Silverstone vlog. So there's been a little bit on this channel. It started to emerge, properly address my F1 opinions and standings. My mum got us tickets for Christmas to Silverstone. She got us tickets to go and see it, and it was like the 3-day tickets. We went on all 3 days. So we saw practice, qualifying, which was a sprint race rather than traditional qualifying. Then we saw the race on the Sunday, and it was the most incredible experience, and it was the first like big event, big experience kind of thing that we'd had since lockdown and everything. So this time last year I kind of knew about the drivers Alonso, Vettel and Hamilton. Maybe Verstappen, I might have like heard his name. So I'd watched a few of the races before going to Silverstone because I kind of wanted to get used to the drama and, you know, what I should expect and like some of the terminology I should know. I now know that DRS is drag reduction system, so that's cool. It's like the flaps at the back of the car. If they're in a DRS zone on the track and they're closer than 1 second behind the driver in front of them, then they can open their DRS and it makes them go like 15 kilometers faster or something, which is crazy. It's also crazy that I know that bit of information. But now, thanks to Drive to Survive, I've watched all of Drive to Survive, all 3 series, and I cannot wait for the next one. It's gonna be amazing. But now that I've watched that, I can now tell you all 10 teams and all 20 drivers. Am I going to do this on camera? Absolutely. Just to prove my point. Okay, so the 10 teams: Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, Alpine, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Williams, Haas. My favourite team is McLaren. Their 2 drivers are Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. So in Mercedes you have Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Both of them are incredible drivers. Hamilton is going for his 8th World Championship in F1. But he is very closely followed. Actually, he's now a few points behind Red Bull driver Max Verstappen. The Red Bull drivers are Max Verstappen and Checo Perez. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have been like toe to toe in the championship and have always been, there's never been more of a gap than like 8 points between the leader of the championship. Currently Max Verstappen is in first place, 6 points behind is Hamilton. I think that championship is going to go down to like the last race. Then you have McLaren, they're my favourite team and 2 of my favourite drivers, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. Then you have Ferrari, their drivers are Charles Leclerc, who's also one of my favourites, and Carlos Sainz, again absolutely iconic. And it's kind of a fight between McLaren and Ferrari, where it's a fight between Mercedes and Red Bull, between who has a better car, faster car, things like that. The 2 fastest cars after those 2 teams are Ferrari and McLaren. So they're kind of toe-to-toe. In the Constructors' Championship, definitely. Not so much in the Drivers' Championship. Because the drivers get points and they're in the Drivers' Championship, but then the cars also get points, and it's the constructors, the actual teams that, you know, get a prize, get the constructors title at the end of, you know, the season. And at the moment it's Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren. But then drivers wise, it's currently Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Norris. I'm getting that right. I am getting that right. In Alpine you have Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso. Alonso I knew about way before I got into F1. I think I knew about Alonso when my mum had it on a Sunday or something and they were racing. I would always like recognise Fernando Alonso. Then you have Aston Martin with Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Then you have AlphaTauri, which is kind of not a backup team, but the kind of Red Bull's secondary team. So AlphaTauri is made up of Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly is one of my favourites as well. I think he was done dirty, I'm gonna say that. When I was watching Drive to Survive, the one thought in my head was he's been doing absolutely dirty because Red Bull only care about Max Verstappen. That is my personal opinion. You may have whatever opinion you like. You may disagree with me and that's okay, but that is my personal opinion. Then you have Alfa Romeo with Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi. Then you have Williams with George Russell, he is one of my other favourite drivers, and Nicholas Latifi. And then the last team, Haas. I laugh at them every week, every time there's a race. I know it's bad and I shouldn't, but their car is not very good. They get lapped every single race, at least once. More likely than not, one of them will get retired, if not both of them, from the race. But their drivers are Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. Nikita Mazepin, honestly, don't have much time for him, if I'm quite honest. I think he's quite a dangerous driver. That's just in my personal opinion. Mick Schumacher deserves better, quite frankly. He doesn't deserve a better team. He just deserves a better car to race in, because he is a good driver and I think he would be amazing just in a better car. So as I said, as I was going through those, my favourites are Norris, Ricciardo, Russell, Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. They're my 5 favourite drivers. I'm very happy if any of them do well. I usually watch the race on a Sunday, but I will keep myself updated like on a Saturday for qualifying and stuff. But again, if I'm not doing anything, I'll sit and watch qualifying. The Grand Prix is in the US this weekend. Everything is late at night or later at night. So 2 o'clock in Texas, Austin, where the race is being held, is actually 8 o'clock our time. So I might sit and watch qualifying tonight. I probably won't. I might watch Strictly Come Dancing, but we'll have to see. I'm definitely going to sit and watch the race tomorrow night, obviously. 8 o'clock, I think coverage starts, or like 5 to 8 coverage starts of the race. So I'm very, 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 very excited about it. It's going to be a great race. I don't really know where the obsession came from and where it came from so quickly. I think because it's just so much more interesting and the drivers actually like each other regardless of the fact they're on like opposing teams. In Monza, Daniel Ricciardo came first, Lando Norris came second and Valtteri Bottas came third. It was a great race weekend. It was iconic. But then there was Sochi. God damn it. Pardon the language. Not that it's much language, but pardon me. This is a clip of me with about 8 laps of the race left to go when Lando Norris was in first place. This was me then.
Ricciardo's in the pits.
Ricciardo's in the pits.
Verstappen's in the pits, it says.
And Sainz as well.
He can lose 6 seconds per lap and still win this Grand Prix.
Lando Norris making his way now out of turn 4. Lewis Hamilton just coming out of the pits.
Then this was me when Lando Norris didn't pit and get new tyres and he slid off the track and instead of coming first, came 7th.
So comfortable driving a Formula 1 car.
Come on, don't spin out now.
It's now just 4 seconds between Norris and Hamilton.
No.
Verstappen could finish
He's lost
P2
it.
here.
And Hamilton takes the lead of the race as Lando Norris slides off the track and avoids the barriers, manages to keep going, but Hamilton takes the lead.
That race was insane, like most of the time. I was so excited for Lando Norris to like get his first place podium, and then he span off. It was insane. It was crazy. It was kind of like a Lightning McQueen moment from the first like 10 minutes of the first Cars movie. He just didn't listen to his pit crew and decided that staying out was the better option, and when he should have come in and got new tyres, and he probably would have won. That's okay, his time is coming. I'm hopeful for this weekend. I'm hopeful that he does a little bit better this weekend, because since that, his races haven't been as great, or he just hasn't placed as high as he usually does. So I'm excited about tomorrow's race. I'm very excited. And all of the news about next season, George Russell going to Mercedes. I'm a little bit cautious about that, because if Hamilton is having another great season, then I'm worried that Mercedes will focus more on Hamilton's season than Russell's season, and that they'll, put him back a little bit, kind of like they do Bottas. They always put Hamilton first. I'm sceptical, but I really hope that George Russell has a great season next year. He's had a great season this year, actually. He's got points. He came second in the Spa race, even though that wasn't much of a race because it was raining the entire time. All of the laps that were raced behind a safety car, which means they can't overtake each other, and they only did like 6 laps or something, like literally just following a safety car around the track because it's too dangerous to race. In the fight against Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, my heart is with Lewis Hamilton, mainly because we saw him win at Silverstone after controversially kicking Max Verstappen off the track. But since watching Drive to Survive and Red Bull's dealing with Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, who is coming back next year, and I'm very excited about it. First of all, it was Pierre Gasly racing for Red Bull. They didn't think he was giving much of a result in comparison to Max, and because Gasly wasn't providing those kind of results, I feel like that's the reason that they kicked him into AlphaTauri, like secondary team, like Williams is Mercedes' secondary team. They put him into AlphaTauri and got Alex Albon, their secondary driver, in to take Pierre Gasly's place. But then by the end of the season, Alex Albon hadn't had, you know, great results either, so they just kicked him out and got another driver, which makes me not particularly like Red Bull. Mercedes' like whole ethic isn't great either, but it's, you know, it's a little bit better than Red Bull's. So my standing in the race between Verstappen and Hamilton for the World Championship is I'm supporting Hamilton all the way. All the way. So that is my take. That is my hot take on F1. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I've actually really enjoyed just talking about F1. It's taken my mind off my dissertation and let me drink my coffee and have fun talking about F1. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, a little bit different to what I usually do, / I'm introducing a new thing that I enjoy, so you'll probably see it a lot more on this channel. I hope you have a lovely rest of your weekend and a great start to your week. I won't see you on Wednesday, but I will see you next Saturday. So please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you next week. Bye guys.